world. This is Jasmine Tangi. I will be taking over our One Word Wednesday for this week. I have an amazing guest who you guys know and love, Nick Jackson, and this week we are going to be talking about tact. Let's get to it. Hey y'all, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We love having these conversations and sharing them with you, and we want you all to get involved. So please comment what you think, what you want to add to this conversation. If you want to join our team, get some awesome swag, we have the Patreon link down below, and we'd love to see you there. So you guys are what keep us going and bring life to this movement. So let's get to it. Hello world, I have the pleasure this week of introducing and interviewing the creator, the CEO, the founder of Nick Jackson Speaks and the I Am Speak Love movement. My name is Jasmine Tangi and I will be interviewing, tell them who you are.
Nick Jackson.
The one and only. So Nick, this week we are talking about tact. Now, I know that you have a lot of tact in your life and in this work. So what does tact mean to you?
So for me, tact is the meaning behind the message, the meaning behind the interview, the meaning behind the connection. So if you have a positive, like loving, like meaning, like the underneath, like in the gut, it's easier for you to meet people where they are. So to be tactful for me is to listen and to recognize that people are in different places, and it's my job to find where they are and meet them there.
Yeah. Is it difficult to do that sometimes when you're trying to meet somebody where they are and you feel like, you're starting on opposite ends of a field?
And now, it definitely would. Now, I've seen it, so I can say for me, let me talk about for me. Okay, so for me, it's not very difficult because I've failed at this multiple times. Matter of fact, failure in this is kind of fun because you recognize that you're not listening, right? So all the places where I'm not, like I have a girlfriend now who's not my fiance, right? There's different times where I'm not listening, right? And so where I'm not listening, I have to check myself and be like, wow, am I using a tactful approach? Like, am I keeping her in mind and also representing where I'm coming from at the same time? It's even harder when you're in an auditorium of people, right? Mm-hmm. So to be tactful, I can't just say because this person is a kid, or this person's an African American, or this person is a business person. I can't tell you who they are, right? Just because of your color or just because of your occupation, it doesn't mean I don't still need to listen to you as an individual. Once I learned that, right, it made it so much easier to connect with folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that in situations where maybe people aren't being tactful, that there is a lack of connection happening, or the message on either side is not being heard, and why, if so, like why is it important to be tactful in those?
Yeah, let me tell you. So the initial meeting of two men, you'll find, right? Now, when guys don't know each other, and let me just talk about for me. If I don't know you, the first thing I do is I look you in your eye and I give you what's up. Sometimes I put my hand down, right? It's interesting to me when some people come up to me, they'll say things like, "What up, dog, Bubby, son? What up, son?" Mm-hmm. Right? Now, I don't talk that way, right? But I mean, I can meet you there. You say, "What up, Bubby?" I'm like, I don't know what your bubby is, but I'll be your bubby today if this is how we're going to interact. Or sometimes I'll put my hand out, like in a handshake form, and other people will want to dap me up, right? Mm-hmm. And so while you come into this, to be tactful means I'm gonna watch how you approach me. This is different than me approaching you. I'm gonna watch how you approach me, and I'm going to see if I can meet you there for the overarching theme of connecting with you as a human being, right? And so like when you can do this, you can mess up in it and still be tactful. Like it makes it a whole lot easier. So for me, it's not super duper difficult, as you asked before, but I had to fail. And then I see other people failing in this in my own life, and I just kind of giggle about it because it could be a lost connection.
Yeah. When in your work has it been, you've been tactful, but maybe the message that you're either embodying or trying to convey isn't being heard? How do you approach that situation?
So especially when I was so I did a speech downtown in Washington Park, and it was during the time where there was multiple riots and stuff going on, multiple protests going on, and I was trying to show the crowd, right, that everyone there is our child, right, everyone there, and if anyone is affected in any way, shape, or form, especially to the point of death, we should investigate that, right? No matter what it is, right? I've gotten so much flack for that. Like that was because politically, other people have their own bents, but they're not really asking me, what my thought was or my speech. And I even brought a parent in whose child was killed by someone of the same race as them with a gun. It doesn't matter if it was an authority figure or if it was a child. It was a death. It was a murder. And the assailants, the victim is in the ground, and the assailants were never found. And so it's important that we really look into these investigations and the way that these kids are getting these guns, and then also what happens after the death. Like, this is a horrible thing. This is not just something that we are expecting or that we were trying to protect ourselves from. This is something we're actively doing. We are searching for justice for all. And it was interesting, but me taking that flag from people who really weren't listening to what I was trying to say was worth every second of the time I got to hug that lady and put her on stage in front of thousands of people to tell her child's story, and all the other mothers that were connecting to it. And sometimes when you're tactful, you may be trying to meet people where they are, but other people aren't trying to meet you. And so you have to recognize, like, who am I? Who is taking precedent in this moment right now? And that day it was her.
That's really beautiful. And to say that, you might not be approached with the same, tactfulness from somebody else. They might not be listening to you, but to take that stand and be tactful. Why is that important? To give and know that you're probably not going to be received in that way. Why still do it?
Right. That's a great question, because a lot of times people think I'm absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. The logo of this great organization of Speak Love, right? This horn, this was used at a social event to scream at people and tell them horrible things about them, how they're going to hell, and they're just horrible people, and you should die and burn and all these other kind of things. And I remember the group of people that came and accosted me, and I will never forget what it felt like, when the spit from this person, so someone had microphones and some were just yelling at me, just their spit was hitting my face. I remember also what it looked like to see, other people watch me in this interaction, expecting me as a big African-American man to get violent. I could tell that some people wanted me to get violent. You hear what I'm saying? And like, I reached out and put my hands on him in love, not in violence, and tried to build into him, and they threw my hand off them and continued to yell in my face. And I told them, I'll meet you again, and I'm gonna love you then too. Now, here's the thing. I did meet him again, literally a couple months later at Frisch's, right? With none of their people around. Like, it was just them eating at Frisch's. And I got to love on them and build into them. And I'm a Christian person, so I prayed for them and with them, and they were all crying. Like, the thing about what we're doing, it doesn't feel good to be tactful when someone's not tactful with you. Like, it doesn't feel good. But my overarching theme is to not lose the communication and the connection that could possibly be made for love. And so there are going to be times where our tactfulness is going to move to a violent place. There will be times for that. But we're doing everything possible to make sure everything, even sacrificing our own safety, we're doing everything possible to promote and create an environment of safety and communication for all people, no matter your socioeconomic status or your culture or what part of town you live in, right? And that right there is sometimes lost when you lose your tact.
Beautiful. Now you mentioned the logo. So in that story, why did you feel so compelled to put it on your shirt when they were speaking words of hate through the microphone? Why did you make it your logo?
Oh yeah. So I've been a motivational speaker since 2008. And like 2007, 2008, around that time. And then even before that, you know, I've been doing speeches even before that, but it's been like my profession since that time. And like I get the mic, right? So a lot of people with these bullhorns, right? They don't usually get the mic that often. So when they're like, when I get the mic, I'm right. And so when I get the mic, I learned at that time, like when I get the mic, I'm going to be speaking love this way. And it starts in speaking love to myself. So whatever they say, I don't have to receive that as my identity. I get to choose before I even meet them what my identity is, right? So being able to label myself by my identified traits that I believe are mine, right? That now opens up the door for me to hear any kind of hogwash out in the street and be like, oh, that's not me. Oh, now that's me, right? And so in I encompass or I embody this microphone, even when I don't have it like a live mic in my hand or a bullhorn in my hand. Like when I'm speaking to myself, it's just as loud as the loudest bullhorn that I'll ever hear. I am the most important motivational speaker in my own life. And I put this on here and we circled it, right? With two circles. And that to me, it encases it as in this is now mine. You know, now I have the microphone. I get to choose what I'm speaking to myself and to you.
That's big. That is amazing. I guess so. My next question, I think, is around you said speaking love to yourselves. Do you find that in speaking love to yourself you have to be tactful, like in situations where you could end up speaking hate to yourself, or be in a situation where you might have failed, and instead of going down a negative route, you're tactful with yourself and saying, i'm taking I'm taking myself in sensitivity. I'm going to do these things that I need in order to take care of myself through this difficult situation. How do you use that in your life?
Wow. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna take you back to the origin, like where this all
Go for it.
started. Where this all started.
Yeah.
So I'm an African American labeled disabled child, going to a mostly Caucasian school. A lot of my classes were in a basement or in a closet. Right, I was separated from other people, and a lot of times, if there was other kids at my school that looked like me, we were also in these situations where we were almost kind of treated like animals, right? The expectations for our success and our growth were very low. And a lot of times I met those low expectations, you know what I mean? And I had a grandfather who told me, he was like, you're from me, like you're not trash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to stop telling yourself that you're trash. This is not you, right? So they can say whatever they want. I got my own expectation of you. And there's no reason why you're not the best in the class. There's no reason why you're not the best on the field. Like, it's up to you, right? As long as you're going to be listening to them and you put them over yourself, then don't be mad that you get what they're giving. But until you learn how to call out your positive traits and recognize you come from good stock, right? Until you learn that, you're going to continue to be a failure and continue to fail. But I know I don't raise failure, so you're going to figure this out. And he's like, I'm going to walk with you. And so much of my mission in this world, right, is to walk with people, right? And I'm talking, we're going through hard times. Like we're going through things like leukemia, job loss, child loss, self-harm. Like we're going through some stuff, right? Intimacy issues, love issues, physical abuse issues, internally and externally. Like these are some of the rough things. And I noticed that when they are not taken care of, like trauma that hasn't been recognized, right? And trauma basically to me is those things not being taken care of. Like those things happen, everybody, these things that happen in our lives. And then it becomes traumatic when we keep replaying it in our mind. And we start dictating how we see the world based on our trauma-filled vision. All right. And it's not the person who has received the trauma's fault, nor is it their friend's fault to walk them through this situation. to me, right, and how we do things here, one, we talk about our issues and our problems openly amongst our friends, not expecting them to fix us, right? But we open it up and we talk about our triggers and our hurts and our helps and these things that we're either dealing with or whatever. But then also we get the opportunity to say, this is my identity. So like when things go on, like this is me, and I could still be a pitcher and throw a bad pitch, you know? I could still be a pitcher and somebody hit a home run off of me. That doesn't change my occupation. I could lose my job for the team and still be a pitcher, right? And what I learned from my grandfather is that once you recognize that you come from good stock and there's good that's within you, you start now looking for the good within you. It's totally different than being like, I come from good and I'm a failure. And so for me, when I hear questions like that, it makes me think of myself when I was 12, 13 years old. And I wanted, more than anything, to no longer be on this earth, right? I also found that there was people that were leaning on me as a child, right? Some of them are adults, right? There were people that were leaning on me for positive words, for encouragement. And I was like, wow, all these people are coming to me for this thing. I want to try it. You know what I'm saying? Like I want some, even as an adult. Like I'm like, all these people are coming to me for stuff. Like they pay me to talk. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's my job, to talk. And like I get into this situation and I'm like, hold on, the thing that you're looking for in me, I haven't used for me. And so like when it comes to Speak Love, like we have the opportunity to start using these gifts. Your gift might not be talking, it might be art, right? It may be song, it may be mathematics, it may be science, I don't know, right? But using your gift, right? Enjoying your gift shouldn't be, bastardized, or shouldn't be a sin, if you will, or shouldn't be negative. It should be what we all do.
Yeah. So I know we're getting close on time here. So if there is one last thing that you want to leave to the world around tact or anything else, what is it you would want to say to our audience?
Absolutely. So when you think of tact, usually we're thinking about tactful communication or tactful planning in military things that are usually external, right? So my tact, I want to sell a car. This is how I go tactfully sell the car. I want to take the fort, right? This is how I tactfully take the fort. Same thing in football. I want to score a touchdown. I want to make the basket, right? So this is the tact that we're going to use. We need tact internally also. Like, how am I going to love myself? How am I going to choose my identity? We wear these things on our ties when I go out. I put my tie clip in such a way, right? So my tie covers up the buttons, right? It stays right in the middle, but it's right over my heart, right? And like when I put my tie tag on, this is the same thing when it comes to your identity. When you put your identity on, you need to recognize, and if I got 30 seconds or less, right? Recognize that these things that you put in front of you, these things that you put on your heart, you're choosing that, right? And so I choose to put love here, right? I choose to take the bullhorn and face it inward here, right? And I choose to impel and inspire the world based on a belief system that I've decided to live, starting with inward conversation. And what you see externally, right? This is a secondary thing. This is not the first thing that comes out. This is the things that falls off the side of the table. But we get to have a feast in our gifts.
It was beautiful. Well, thank you, Nick, for giving me the honor and pleasure to interview you for our One Word Wednesday. Thank you so much. Bye, world.
Bye.